Joe Budden made a great point. The point that he was making is that Eminem is an asshole. If
Damn.
you bless me with an M verse, I'm happy. I as far as hip hop goes, that's a bucket list. I'm good. But if I if I send you a 4-minute song, right? So we got intro, my verse, hook, blank space for you to fill in, and then we got hook, and then we got some shit talking, whatever at the end.
Right, right, right.
Let's just say your space is 16 bars. That's what it's allotted for. And
Okay.
you send me back 3 minutes.
Right.
So literally 300 bars, not
Mm-hmm.
300, excuse me,
Give you stuff to pick and choose from.
like 60 bars, 80 bars.
Absolutely.
What the hell are you thinking? I'm not okay with that.
Get your
Why would you
engineer
do?
to edit it down, man.
But you can't edit down an Eminem verse. You can't, and this was the conversation they were having. How do you circumvent that? Because if you reach out to M and M gives you a verse, A, it's probably hella expensive. So if you are getting a verse from M, he probably don't really care about the money. He's doing it on the strength. And you reached out because of the strength of M. So he gives you this verse. But it just so happens the verse is 10 minutes long. What do you do with that? You cut his verse that he could have charged you like $5 million for, but he gave it to you for free? Do you cut his verse when everybody not everybody, but most people arguably agree that M is one of the greatest lyricists to ever live? Do you cut arguably the greatest lyricist to ever live's verse? No. So what do you do? How do you circumvent that? Listen, I don't want a 10-minute Eminem verse on my song. I don't. I don't want that.
So Joe Budden was on his podcast talking about the Corday and Eminem song, Parables, right? Parables remix or something like that. That just came out on Corday's album. And if you listen to that song, you listen to M's verse. The song is about 4 minutes and 40 something seconds, 4 or 5 minutes. Corday goes for about 2 minutes, has a little bit of a hook, and then Eminem's on the rest of it, right? So they brought that back to the 2013 track with Kendrick and Eminem, which was called Love Games. And on that, M went for another 3 minutes. And we've noticed this to be something that is common with M verses. They seem to either they'll go on the regular beat, and then because his verse is so long, there'll be a part where the beat changes on his verse just to keep his verse going. And they're saying, we get it, M. We know that you can rap. We know that you can do this. You don't have to give us these extended verses because after a certain amount of time, people start tuning out. My response to that is very simple. It depends on what level of artist I am at the time. It really does, because when they say music is a business, music is a fucking business, right? And we talking about long-term relationships. And when it comes to Eminem, Eminem is not just himself an entity, but the connections that he has to other people in the industry and the respect that he has from other people in the industry is something that has to be accounted for as well. So if I'm Corday and I'm on my sophomore album and I get a verse from Eminem, I don't care how long the verse is. The whole thing is staying on there and it's going on the track. Now, a point that Joe Budden made throughout the podcast as well is that if this was Lil Wayne and Eminem sent him a 5-minute verse, Lil Wayne is going to end up doing a 6-minute verse on the track. But that's because of the level that Lil Wayne is at. Lil Wayne is at a different level from Corday. So if I'm Lil Wayne levels and Eminem's doing this, okay, nobody, we're not doing that. I gotta show you, say, this is my song. This isn't your song, Eminem.
That's what I'm saying.
This isn't your song. I thank you for the feature, but this is my song. So I'm going to give the longer verse here, right? But that's how you gotta play it. So I'm not mad at Corday for leaving a long verse. I'm not mad at Kendrick for leaving a long verse eight years ago.
Let's also put that in perspective. That song Love Game was Eminem's song. And that song, by the way, truly does suck. And I'm not saying that because of Joe Budden's podcast. When I first listened to the Marshall Mathers LP2, I'm like most people, I was excited for that. And then I was like, this song is really trash.
Yeah.
By two amazing storytellers.
Right. No, it was garbage.
Really, really trash song.
It was really
Also,
garbage.
one other point that I wanted to make, and I did interrupt you. I apologize, but not really, because I do it often.
I do it too. Why you think I do it? You think
All
I'm
right,
sitting here?
all
I
right,
don't
fair
know.
enough.
I
Fair
know
enough.
what's going on here, man.
When
I
you
know.
when you listen to an Eminem album, especially his later albums, this is what he does. His own songs are like 5 minutes. Eminem does not write 16 bars. Eminem might
BT
write,
freestyle.
he might just do a 32. Literally, oh, by the way, here's the other thing about Eminem. If you are if you are an old head like me, if you come from the era where a song had 3 verses, Eminem gives you 3 verses on his songs, but again, not 16 bars. So Eminem's verses are just typically long.
Right.
Budden made the pointer, one of them did, said, hey, how do you know when you ask M for a feature, the artist doesn't know what they're getting? Maybe this is exactly what they want. And it would be logical to think that, because again, if you are a fan of Eminem and you listen to his own music, he does it in his own songs. So why wouldn't he just do it on yours? Right? Just saying.
I said it while you were talking. Anybody who doesn't agree with what this guy is saying, just go check out Eminem's BET freestyle, and then check out every other rapper's BET freestyle. The one thing that you're gonna notice is the difference in length.
He just raps for a long time. You know what I mean? For a long
Even the same
time.
artist in the same setting as him that did their freestyles as well. His was last because it was about 5 minutes. So this is what he does. That's a great point. You make a solid point there.
Hey,
and like
man.
I said, if I'm a new artist and I get this from Eminem, man, I'm thinking about myself sitting here right now. Like, think about whoever's watching this, think about yourself sitting at home right now. You ain't even got to make music, but you go out there and somehow you manage to get yourself an Eminem verse on your song, right? Now you go and you send him whatever, and you have it in your mind formatted a certain way, but he goes and sends you back a 3-minute verse. Are you going to cut that?
No one is.
No.
No one is.
Nobody. No.
What I will do, even if I'm unknown and I'm just dope enough for M to give me the bly, I'm going to also write a 3-minute verse, because now I want, when people hear that record, I want them to actually have a reason to compare the verses. Not like, oh, this guy's just a new guy that Eminem's co-signing. His verse isn't bad, but yo, you got to check that M verse. He killed it. No.
Right.
And I'm even going to reference the fact that like there's like, you need to judge these 2 verses. I'm going to reference it in my verse. I'm not going to.
You don't want to get renegated. You don't want to get renegated.
I'm not going to let you. And first of all, Jay-Z didn't get washed on Renegade, but I'm not going to let you wash on that on my own song. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Jay-Z's verse was incredible on that song. Jay-Z's verses
yeah,
on that song were incredible. Unfortunately, Eminem teleported to a different planet on that track, but that's a side note.
Yeah, it's a side note that we could make front and center. I won't, but I will say, you're doing a song with Jay-Z. You have to step it the F up.
Yeah.
So if you think M went to another galaxy, that's probably, and say whatever you want, I don't care. But
that's probably, in my mind, that's one of his best verses, if not his best he's ever written. Eminem.
He knew. Okay, this
and
is
Jay-Z.
I gotta bring it.
Yeah, it took a Jay-Z track to do that. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm sorry again. I will leave it there because this could be a whole pod.
That's why I said we should just leave it, because this is a whole different topic.
It's about perspective. Of course, if you're a hustler, you're gonna be like, Jay killed that. If you're just a pure lyricist, you're gonna be like, M killed that. I mean, perspective, people. But what are your thoughts here? If you are virtually unknown, are you cutting a 10-minute Eminem verse? Of course you're not.
Okay, chill. If it's 10 minutes, me and my engineer, we working. So we work.
No, you're not.
We working. Some of those are turning into ad libs. No, come on now.
You're leaving it.
10 minutes.
You're leaving it.
This is not an Uncle Murder wrap up. Okay.
You're leaving it. I guarantee you're leaving it.
All right, bro.
I got the longest Eminem verse in history. We know. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out that video over there in the corner as well. Deuces.